Hello, Cosmos Hub. Today we got a great day with a special guest, the founder of cryptodungeon, also known as Xantar. Today we'll have a small interview with this great guy, and we'll find something new about the cryptodungeon project. So tell us a bit about yourself and about the team.
Yeah, so my real name's Lee, actually. I'm actually a psychiatrist in real life. I started cryptodungeon with a couple of my friends about 2.5 years ago. It was sort of a combination of our ideas. I wanted to start a company that was fun and I could just hang out with my friends and it wouldn't feel like a job. And my buddy Brad wanted to start a gaming company. And Sanju, who was my third partner, he's also a psychiatrist that I worked with in residency and we're still friends 10 years later. He wanted to do some philanthropic work and give things back and donate to charity. So like we haven't been able to do a ton of that yet, but that's something that we're trying to do in the future with one of our.
Oh, the first idea was to build like a usual mobile game, and after that, you somehow decide to build it on crypto, as far as I understand.
Well, we started out with the idea of wanting to become a gaming company, but we didn't have $100 million and lots of software developers. No, please. Sorry. So yeah, we needed a way of getting funding for it. So we thought, okay, well, let's start some validators up on Juno and Stargaze, and thinking we'd do well doing that, not realizing that it was really, really tough in the bear market and just very, very difficult. So we started out with the 2 validators and kept expanding. Then we brought on Donovan, who's also called Princess Popcorn, and he's our dungeon master and lead game designer, and he's really the kind of the backbone of all the gaming that we do. And he's a very talented entertainer and voice actor, but he had a game that we were sort of really, it was the game that we wanted to build ourselves, and he already kind of had it developed in this interface called Tailspire. So we run that through Discord, and it's a live action Dungeons and Dragons tabletop game. So it usually 4 players to a team playing with Popcorn, who's basically running the groups, and they're all playing in the same world together. That was the first game that we made. We launched an NFT collection, which is our OG collection, 400 NFTs on Stargaze, called the cryptodungeon collection. There's not many actually up for sale right now because most people are holding on to them. But that was our first game, and then the idea of the second game we were going to make was for Cosmic Quest, and the point of that game was really to onboard users into the Cosmos ecosystem through tapping into the mobile app stores on Android and Apple. So we wanted to make a game easy to play. You didn't actually have to know how to do crypto because we want to appeal to a mass audience. So you don't need to do any crypto to play it. It is free. You get a limited version when you're playing. So when you notice, oh, there's these other players that can have a full deck and they can actually customize different things and they can get full access to the game. They can store their character data. They own their account. They actually access play to earn features that we pay out in Dungeon or in the Dragon token. So we're hoping that once people see that and they like the game, they're going to want to kind of jump in with minimal risk. I mean, you don't have to gamble lots and lots of your money to play. It's just just like any other game, you make a small investment and then you have full access. So yeah, that was the point of Cosmic Quest, and we're still in active development. We were able to show sort of a limited version of that at Cosmoverse. We're still trying to finalize some of the art design, and we're even hiring another game designer to help code the rest of it onto the blockchain.
So, and the thing about the usual players from non-crypto world is a kind of interesting story because it's something new, and the way you're trying to involve them, it's kind of interesting. And I got a question about it. So basically, will you make some academy or courses about crypto things for these players and how they will be involved in the process of crypto? Because I know that it's kind of difficult story especially if you're a newcomer, to understand what is going on, what is Stargaze, what is the NFT, how to understand is it NFT good or not, and all the things like that.
Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, I'm fairly strict on our Discord. If people start doing toxic stuff, we actually just ban them, and a lot of people don't like that. But one of my goals is that when the game launches, players will sign up with an account, and they will learn about the project and the company through our website and everything like that. They can come into Discord and ask questions. So I really want to keep the Discord as clean and non-toxic as possible, so that we can kind of give a good ambiance to like new people coming in that are not crypto people, that are not used to this kind of stuff, and they can learn from just talking to people on our Discord that are more supportive. So that's the thing, is that they won't know anything about it, but the game itself, kind of, when you start the game, there's like a starting screen, and you start the game, and then you go into this sort of map, and there's different portals to different blockchains. So it'll look just like a fantasy game, a role-playing game, but you go into the different portal, and then you get to play on that blockchain, and you're fighting monsters in a dungeon to earn more rewards and stuff like that to get more powerful. But kind of by playing, you're going to learn a little bit about the Cosmos ecosystem and sort of how IBC channels work, kind of like portals. I mean, we're not actually saying, okay, this is a purely crypto game, but the way it's designed is sort of like, all right, let's make this really fun. We're going to get people into this. They're going to want to play it because it's a fun game. But then there's sort of hints on how the Cosmos ecosystem works, and how you can sort of transfer an asset from like one blockchain to another through IBC channels. So they're portals in the game, but like that's kind of how the game works. So players can actually, once they have an NFT, move their NFT from one blockchain to another through an IBC channel. And when they move their NFT, after each battle or everything they do, it creates a transaction on the NFT itself, and it updates the metadata, which stores all the account information for the player. When they defeat an enemy, we want to update the metadata and actually show how many monsters you've actually beaten in the game, and that will be forever stored on your account.
Oh,
So
sounds really great. Sounds
yeah, and
amazing.
it's really not hard to do it. Like that's why I'm kind of amazed that no one's ever done this before. We're like the first ones that are going to do it, and we're not that smart in terms of crypto. We're just gamers, and we're using crypto as a vehicle, and we think it is the future of gaming, and it's the future of the internet and everything else. But we didn't start in crypto, and I've only been into it maybe 2.5 to 3 years, because I jumped into Ethereum about 3 years ago. Like before that, I always thought crypto was kind of a joke, and I never really took it seriously. But then I started to realize, like, wow, this could actually have a lot of applications that are built on it, and actually be very useful. So learned about Ethereum first, and then Cosmos after that, and then just sort of aped into the Cosmos ecosystem.
Oh, the next question, I think it's very logical. Why you choose the Cosmos ecosystem to run it? Because there are a lot of different blockchains, a lot of different ecosystem, and what is the Cosmos for you, and why it is like that?
Well, so I didn't know everything about crypto at the time, but I still think that we made the right decision. When I had started playing around, I looked, I owned some Ethereum. Like I just bought it on Coinbase, and I started, playing around with it and just seeing what the hell is this stuff that they call crypto. And like then I actually got in and I started trying to use the network, and I saw how slow it was and how expensive it was to process a transaction. So it's like, how do you really build an application on this if it's $100 per transaction? It takes 12 minutes. It doesn't seem like a great system. I think it got a little bit better when they transferred over to proof of stake from proof of work, but it's still very clunky. And they are building, other ways of trying to make it faster and scale it up. But I sort of learned about different influencers on YouTube, and I thought, oh wow, this sounds like the future, because like it's able to connect every single blockchain through these IBC channels that are ultra secure. They've never been hacked. So we just started learning about it. I started investing in Atom, and then I learned about kind of, oh well, if you stake, then you get airdrops, and there's all these different blockchains that you can get access to. So that's when I actually missed the Juno airdrop, but I heard about it, and then I started buying a ton of it, which was still hold about 110,000 Juno, which is terrible. Then I got some Stargaze and kind of aped into that. I started getting a lot of the Genesis NFTs, and that's actually when around the time we started cryptodungeon. I was in Colombia with my friend Brad, and we were just kind of hanging out with my wife's family, and um, the Prop 16 thing went up with Juno, and I saw like 97% of the community turned out to vote. I was like, wow, that's amazing. Like, there's no election ever that 97% of people vote. So I got excited about that, and then I got on Reddit and I started, just kind of posting things, and I don't know, like people started repeating what I was saying and like commenting on it. I got kind of excited. I'm like, wow, I'm like almost like an influencer at this point. And I don't like social media typically, but like I realized, well, maybe we can launch a validator and we could be part of this process where you know we could be a chain with governance. That's kind of how the idea started. Um, and then we just kind of kept moving. We launched our Cosmos node, and we had a brutal time like with a lot of stuff that we've been doing. We got knocked out of the active set on Cosmos 6 times, so it was very, very difficult for us to break in. And I think right now we're ranked like 61 with no hub delegation at this point, and it's all grassroots. So we've sort of built a name and a brand and a reputation, and what I'm hoping to do is kind of harness that to make this game even better, and to help every blockchain in the ecosystem that's sort of supportive and working with us. So we can actually drive traffic from blockchain to blockchain by using the game. If we have a special event on Juno, for instance, we can ask all the players, hey, if you want to participate in this special event, you need to move your NFT over to Juno, and then you're going to be fighting these monsters. And if you complete the event, you might get this really powerful item. So we can incentivize people to play on Juno and create activity on any blockchain that we want. So if there is a blockchain that's struggling that we think deserves attention, we can always create events like that.
Sounds really amazing, and I would like to know a little bit more about the NFT collections. What was the inspiration, how the process was, and maybe there were some tough moments you faced and how you solved this.
So when we had our first game, we really didn't have a lot of knowledge about coding and doing anything with Web3. So we had the NFT collection, and then before we launched Cosmic Quest, we sort of realized that, all right, NFTs can become mutable after you mint them, and they can be sent cross-chain. So we have this vehicle where, okay, you mint one of our NFTs on Stargaze. After we mint the collection out, we then make it mutable, and then we can actually send a command from our server on the player's behalf. So the players don't have to touch anything with crypto. They don't ever have to click accept transaction or anything. They can pre-fund their account, and then we can use those transactions, whatever they're using. Like if they have atoms or something like that, they can send that into their account, and then we can use that to pay the transaction fee, which streamlines the game. It makes it like it's not really like you're playing a Web3 game. You're just playing a regular mobile game. You don't even have a feeling like, oh yes, accept transaction after each battle. Then we then send the transaction from our server to the blockchain directly, and we update the metadata on the chain. So we can do that as little or as often as we want, depending on costs. So if we determine, oh, like every battle is too much and it's going to create too many transactions on the chain, it's too expensive, then we could make it less often. But yeah, basically what the NFTs are, they are an upgraded version of the free game. So you will have a full deck. You'll have additional cards that you might start with, and instead of starting with sort of a very generic deck, you'll have a specialized one. So if you notice, if you get one of our NFTs, there's 9 different chains, and each chain has their own race. There's 8 different classes where you could be like a brawler or a troubadour or a knight, and they game. And then you've got different subtypes: fire, hellfire, earth, toxin, water, ice, and then light and dark. And each one of those decks, similar to some other games like Magic the Gathering, let's say, like if you have a dark deck, dark is debuffing, for instance, and light might be buffing or healing. So there's different strategies on each deck that you're playing. and you can actually combine 2 different types or 3 different types to have even more of a diverse strategy. So when you have the NFT, you not only access play to earn, but you get the full upgraded game. So if you play and you're using the NFT in our collection, you actually start getting paid out in Dragon each month. So not only are you playing the game, you're actually earning tokens. And if the Dragon token becomes valuable in the future, that could be really great for the 3,401 people that had that. So that's the whole draw. Plus, it stores all your character account. You know, I played other Web3 games, and you know, one of the problems is like, let's say Ening, for instance, is a game that people pay thousands of dollars to play that game, and they upgrade their account and they try to get the most powerful on the server. But if they decide, well, you know, I'm kind of tired of playing, I don't want to keep doing this anymore, they can't really recoup that investment. They don't own their account. Ening owns it. So if they try to sell it, maybe they get $50 for it, and they've spent thousands. And if they get caught, they get banned because it's really not theirs to sell. So with what we're doing with Cosmic Quest, you own your account. It's completely decentralized. You just sell it on the marketplace, and it has all your player data, how many monsters you've killed, all your upgraded items, all the cards that you've accrued, any feats or accomplishments you've done. And the rarity of that NFT actually can go up over time as you play. So maybe you don't have the rarest NFT in the beginning, but you put a lot of time in, that NFT becomes more valuable.
So it's like a system of upgrading to be involving more people and like a way to stay them in the game. Like they see some progression, they need to level up, rank up, get new NFT, and after that, if they would like, they can swap it to another NFT or do something like that.
That's correct. And even let's say like we only have so many NFTs that are for sale on Stargaze, but you're a non-crypto user and you can't afford the NFT on Stargaze. It's now like $1,000 to get it because the game became really popular. Well, you can purchase a generic NFT that you start with actually in the game, and you don't really understand what it is at first, but it does store your character metadata as well, and it creates transactions on the chain as well. So the more players we get, it's exponential how many transactions we can create, and those players say, all right, well, I really like this game. I can't afford the $1,000 NFT, but I'm going to pay 50 and I'm going to get my NFT and I can have full access to the game. It doesn't have every feature that the Cosmic Quest NFTs get on Stargaze, but it gives them some things. So, you know, if they want to own their account and store their progression, they can do that.
Amazing plan. Many people ask about the Steam. Do you planning to run your game on the Steam platform to make computer gamers?
Well, so Steam, I think is more for like different type of game. Like we're going to be on the mobile app store, and we'll probably be on HTML in different ways. But we are staying away from in-app purchases at first, because the app stores, when you start trading in crypto and doing anything like that, they don't want you on the store. So we need to be on the app store. That's the way that we onboard people, right? But if we start having in-game purchases and things like that in crypto especially, it probably will ruin that for us and make it really hard to onboard people. So we have another plan of how people will actually fund their accounts through our own website. So it'll be outside of the mobile app store. And if you want to play and you're playing on different blockchains, you're creating transactions, you need to fund your account. So we may have a token that we sell that goes onto your NFT, and the NFT shows how many tokens you have. You have a transaction, that number decreases by 1, and then that's how many transactions you can do before actually you need to refund your account. So on Cosmos, one of the cool things is transactions are super fast and they're like a penny. So and Dragon, the Dragon token and the transactions on Dungeon Chain will be very, very inexpensive, especially at first. So that way we're not asking players to spend lots and lots of money funding their account. You know, depending on what blockchain they're playing on, it might cost more or less.
Okay, I got it. And I got one more question about like technical part of it. Why you prefer to run it on ICS instead of like many other projects on Cosmos Hub do? Because like you are the first one who would do it on full length ICS, and it's kind of tough way to do it because there is no such amount of people who knows how it really works and all the things.
Well, you don't have to know how it works. It's doing all the transactions for you on your behalf. You're just basically funding your account, and anyone can do that with any currency. It doesn't have to be in crypto. You just buy whatever token, and then that goes onto the NFT itself, and then we use that as a means of paying for your transactions on your behalf. So why IBC? Well, it's never been hacked before. It's really quick. Um, the whole idea of Cosmic Quest was to support the whole ecosystem. We don't have to do that. I mean, that was part of the idea of what we wanted to do. So Dungeon Chain is not just a gaming blockchain. It's designed to produce interchain collaboration and to foster, this better sort of working together between chains. So there's a lot of competition and everyone wants to win against each other, but actually what I found through social media, especially like on Twitter, the way we've grown is by being nice to people and collaborating. So we're trying to continue that same sort of feeling, change the whole climate in the Cosmos ecosystem to get everyone to work together. And I think there is a possibility that you crush everyone else around you and you beat them and then you win, but you make everyone else lose in the process, and it's not the best way to do it. So we really want to be known as the chain that helps every other chain in the ecosystem. We did not have to do, we didn't have to be an ICS chain. We could have launched our own blockchain. We brought on our own validators. Many of them were not in the active set, like yourself, and now you are. So like we didn't have to do this the way we did, but we wanted to do it this way because we want to do something bigger than just making tons of money and making, a product that's going to make us rich. We want to make the whole ecosystem greater.
Okay. One very interesting question for me is that there are lots of opportunities now to connect with different blockchains, not from the Cosmos ecosystem. Like you can connect with Tron, Bitcoin, Ethereum. So do you have any plans to go there and make the game there, or somehow connect it between absolutely different blockchains from different ecosystems?
Well, I mean, like we're looking at different blockchains in the Cosmos ecosystem that are not yet in the game, and maybe down the road we can add Ethereum or Solana or something like that. But that's not something that we're thinking of doing in the immediate future here. Like we want to build on Cosmos blockchains. We want to validate on those blockchains, and bring them into the fold. So the first game edition that will come out will be the first 9 blockchains. So it's the Cosmos Hub, Stargaze, Juno, Passage, Migaloo, Omniflix, Jackal. I'm probably missing some of them, but those are the initial NFTs that we minted. There were about a little under 400 per chain be in the game first. And then if another blockchain decides they want to join, then we launch a node on their chain. We start validating, like for instance, Injective or Celestia. We create a race for those blockchains, and then we launch another NFT, a smaller collection, just for those. And that would be our second edition mint instead of the first edition. So the first edition will always be the biggest and the most popular because they're going to hold the most value. But yeah, we're going to add as many blockchains as we can and make the game even bigger.
That sounds huge. I also would like to know, maybe there will be ability for the players to create their own NFT collections or something like that, to create own characters and battle with it, with other players, for example. Will it be possible to do?
Maybe. So we're going to have our own NFT platform on Dungeon Chain pretty quickly. And what we're trying to do is draw in other projects that want to build games and then teach them how to do that. So that's the idea that we have is called Dungeon Academy. So we can show people, all right, this is how we did this. You can move the NFTs like this. You can update the metadata like this. We're going to teach you game design. We'll help promote your game. We'll help kind of even possibly get funding with grants if the Dragon token becomes more valuable. And like we had it really hard when we first launched. We didn't really have any help. We still don't really have much help, and we're still doing it because we're crazy and we just never stop working. But we built the entire thing in the bear market in a very tough climate, and it's still brutal. I mean, like my team gets nervous. How are we going to keep going if we don't succeed here and there? But we just don't quit. That's the whole thing. And we can make it easier for other people to do what we've done by teaching them what we've done and sort of giving them the assistance that we didn't have. And that's what I wanted to do on Juno. I ran for the department, but unfortunately, there was some distrust about what I was trying to do from the other members of the department, and I got just attacked for every single thing I was trying to do, which is really the reason why I decided, all right, we need our own chain, because I can't do the things here that I want to do, and people don't trust me. I don't have full control over the environment that we're in, and I really felt that we needed that. So that's why we needed to create Dungeon Chain in the first place. So I unfortunately failed to convince people that I was trying to do the right thing for the community, and it just didn't work out. But learn from my mistakes and trying to build from there.
Okay, great. Also, very interesting topic. There are a lot of people in the Cosmos Hub community, lots of different validators, and maybe there will be a system to involve validators like clans to attack each other, to make some collaborations and something like that in the game. Like we got, I think, clans in Hearthstone, for example, and other cards game like that. Will it be possible to do?
Yeah, I mean, we want people to build games on our chain, preferably interchain games like that work in a similar way to Cosmic Quest that are going to help the other blockchains. So we have a list that we're creating of things that we're looking for, and we've already had several teams approach us that want to build. So once we get this chain fully up, which is unfortunately taking longer than I was hoping, we've run into some bugs with the Genesis, and we've had to change configuration things. We're actually doing an upgrade right now, and then hopefully next week we do the final one where we're going to be able to launch pools and send tokens to Osmosis. But like, we got to get this right, because if we screw it up, it's been 2.5 years of like just nonstop work and sweat and tears and blood and all this, and just to ruin it because we're rushing would be really dumb. So yeah, there's people that are disappointed in what we're doing, but I think once we get the chain up, then we can really start working on Dungeon Academy. Most of the team is working on finishing Cosmic Quest right now, but it's a small team. We're self-funded mostly by me because we don't really have any help from anyone else. We don't have any VC capital or anything like that. So we kind of did the NFT mint as a way of raising funds. And, we haven't made that much yet because we had to give a lot of stuff away, and we had to do that promo. So like, yeah, we're starting to get some funding coming in. And then hopefully the blockchain, if that becomes successful, we have pools allocated where, we can use some of that money slowly in a way that we don't drop the token price to hire more people, to pay for marketing, to get an additional game developer. So that's one of the reasons why we need the blockchain is sort of like a Kickstarter. We have to be very careful how much we're spending and how fast, and we have to be very disclosing about that. So if we need to spend this much money to hire a dev, we're going to announce that before we do it. And it's a multi-sig account, so it's not just but that's kind of how the chain works. But we also have funding for potentially grants for new projects that are wanting to build, paid out in Dragon. We have pools for player rewards, and that's part of the reason why. Well, all right, if I build on your chain, well, I get support from the team. It's a permission chain, so we're not allowing anyone to come build. You have to kind of talk to us first, and we have to allow you to do that. But if you're going to build, we're going to make sure that you succeed. We don't want to pick a project that's going to fail, and we want to have at least one of the core team members kind of on their team helping them to make sure that they succeed. So marketing, we're going to have help with game development, with actual technology, like how to make the NFTs mutable and transfer from one blockchain to another. Just basically teach them everything we've done. So we needed to be first to market. That's why we haven't showed the game to everyone. Everyone wants to see the game, and I want to show it too because I want to get the hype and get everyone wanting to trust us and believe in us, and oh, they have a real game. Well, let's invest in them. But like the risk in doing that is there have been many people that have approached us, basically telling us they're going to steal the game from us. And if we don't succeed at doing this right, no one's going to really want to work with us or build with us because other people have done it first. So that's kind of why we're doing it the way we are. We see ourselves as a gaming company, and a game company doesn't show a game before it's finished. You know, it looks like crap and it's not polished yet. We felt like we had to do that at Cosmoverse, but it was never what the team wanted to do. Actually, they wanted to wait until the game was completely finished and then launch it, and then start marketing. But because we're a crypto project and we can't just be like, trust me, bro, and people are gonna, you know, invest in us without knowing what we're doing, we kind of had to show something. So that was kind of what's been going down the last few months here.
Okay. After that, I got the question, like how the academy will work, because you say that people need to speak with you, understand how it will work, what they would like to do, and after that it would be like, well, you will help fully with the game development and etc. But what is the beneficial for you as the academy owner, and how it will help you to reach new goals, for example?
Well, you know, if we were permissionless, we would have more projects probably trying to build. But what I want to do is keep the projects that are on our chain successful, so that when people decide, hey, I'm going to invest in this game, I'm going to work with this project, there's a very, very, very high possibility that they're going to succeed because they've been handpicked. The team is working directly with them. It's a very hands-on approach. What we get is we get legit projects building, and that creates more transactions on the chain, makes the token more valuable to stakers because, you know, eventually we want to drop our inflation rate as low as possible and then be basically paying out staking rewards and liquidity pool rewards in transaction fees. We could be paying value to inflation. So the more people that build on the chain, the faster we can drop the inflation rate and make the token more valuable. So that's what we get. We get more transactions on the chain. We get more activity. We grow our community. But we're doing it in a slow and steady approach rather than just, all right, it's permissionless. Anyone can build. So we're not going to have any Fortis sort of projects where, you know, you get your money stolen. I lost a ton of money in that. That was brutal. Yeah, and like there's just so many things in crypto that are just not safe. And I think if you want to onboard non-crypto people into the ecosystem, gaming is pretty low risk. You don't have to put all your money into a pool and then hopefully you 100x your money and you're on like 10 times leverage and then you get whatever. But like, yeah, I'm just going to pay for this NFT. I'm going to stake 10 atoms. I get play to earn rewards. You know, we're going to just encourage people to come in with as little risk as possible. And then the people that are building on the chain, those people will think, okay, these are legit projects. We're not going to worry about, you know, I'm going to pay $50 for this NFT that they're selling, and then it's just down the toilet. You know,
Okay.
we want to just make it as attractive as possible for new people coming in.
And in this case, will you make like a special video courses for them, for example, not like only Discord things, because sometimes it's a bit tough to get in a new place, especially like Discord, because as I know, many people don't like the Discord because it's a bit difficult to understand from the first sight. And for most of the people, I think it's kind of easier to get involved from the YouTube, for example, or TikTok, or any kind of other social media.
Well, you guys might be able to help us with that. I mean, especially with AI and everything AI can do, we could make some guides pretty quickly. You can see my cat and dog are fighting in the
On the
background
scene.
here. They love each other. But yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. You're right. A lot of people don't like Discord. I think it's cool, but like we're trying to keep it lean, and everyone's like, well, why are you banning people from Discord? Like you're just gonna hurt your project. I'm like, we don't want a big Discord. Like we want it to be a friendly environment where, you know, like I'm not getting attacked left and right 24/7 like it is on Twitter. That way, if people do come in, they're seeing a healthier climate, healthier environment. It doesn't need to be 30,000 people in the Discord. But yeah, videos is the way to go for sure for mass market. We could be putting some on OmniFlix, we could be putting some on YouTube, we could be putting them all over the place, and then people can just watch those guides. But ultimately, if they're wanting to build a game on the chain, they have to talk to us.
Yeah,
We're
I
not allowing
understand
anyone
this correctly.
else.
Yeah.
So
I also would like to know, you said previously that dungeon token will not be used in the game, but as I understand now, it will somehow connect to the game on the price level and somehow maybe also. I want to know, maybe there is a future plans to make dungeon coin like a coin of the game, for example, to buy NFT by dungeon in the game directly without using Stargaze or something like that, maybe?
yep. See, that depends on what happens in this country, right? Like we have an election coming up next week. Right now, it's interesting. Like we I can't tell anyone about this yet because if I do, then people start going crazy. But like we have merchandise now on our website, but you can't
Mhm.
really buy it yet because PayPal is the vehicle that we use to launch it. And as soon as they saw crypto in our name, they locked our account because we are a crypto dungeon. And they're like, these guys are like, crypto company. Like, first of all, PayPal, like you guys actually buy and sell crypto and you can do that on your site. So like, what the hell? Like, why are you doing that? We're only selling merchandise. We're not selling crypto. We're not doing anything like that. But there's not a good feeling amongst most people in this country, and certainly not the people in charge of the government. Like, if you want to be on the mobile app store, if you want to be on PayPal, like you have to be very careful how you're doing things. So if the mobile app store says, yeah, now you can buy and sell crypto, you can do transactions on there, great. That makes it a lot easier for us. But that's not what we have right now. And if we want the game to succeed, it has to be something that one, they'll allow, and two, you don't have to purchase anything in the game. So for Cosmic Quest, at least when we first launch it, we're not going to do that. But in later editions, we may add that in if that changes. And other games in the future can certainly do that if that's the case. But the Dragon token right now, it's used to pay players. It's used for lots of different things. I mean, it's our staking and governance token, but there will be future utility depending on what we're allowed to do in the future. Um, and yes, we will have our own NFT platform. Um, so future collections may be launched on our own chain, and we still will keep our OG collection and Cosmic Quest First Edition on Stargaze. We still validate for Stargaze. We want to support every chain, but yeah, we may have our own ecosystem. We're trying to stay away from DeFi mostly, but anything gaming related, we're going to want to have dApps built for that. So that will use the Dragon token, and anything that happens in our chain. So like for instance, there's events on every chain. So if you're playing on OmniFlix, you're going to move your NFT to OmniFlix. It'll create transactions there. But the non-crypto players have NFTs as well, and those transactions will be on our own chain because we
Mhm.
need to have a chain that's designed for gaming that's going to be fast enough and cheap enough in terms of the transaction cost that we could sustain that. So if you are a non-crypto user and you have your own NFT, all those transactions are going to be on Dungeon Chain until that person decides I'm gonna get an NFT and I want to move it to different blockchains.
Sounds huge. You also got a great list of the other NFT collections to get multipliers. So, as far as I understand, you got connections with these guys, and maybe we can see the NFT collections in the game as characters or something like that. Uh, or it's not for now, for example.
Probably not player characters right away, but there are monsters and elements in Cosmic Quest like that are themed for each chain. So for instance, if you're on Osmosis, you might run into a mad scientist in the game. You might run into a galactic miner or something like that. Depending on what chain you're on, there's different monsters and different dungeons, and they are themed for Cosmos. So there is the possibility of adding different flavor to the game with different characters. But the player characters, in terms of play to earn rewards, we're going to have to keep that probably to the Cosmic Quest First Edition for right now, just because it would be just impossible. First of all, we can't update the metadata on a mad scientist. We don't have access to that. Um, and I don't know if the team wouldn't want us to do that. So we wouldn't be able to make them mutable and store character data and all that. But we could integrate them in other ways. That's part of the plan.
So it was the first part of the interview with cryptodungeon. Stay with us, and next week we'll drop the second part of it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.